pull the sticker out, put it on. Number one, put your initials, date, then mark on your thing, on your machine. Plaintiff's exhibit, PLIBT, 1, then hand it back to him. The second you hand it back, that cat's ready to go. And he's gonna start asking questions. So you're like, okay, put the exhibit sticker on, blah, 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 put it on. Okay, here you go, sir. I need to write it on. Okay, and when I gave you this exhibit, you know, and here you go. And you're fumbling around, okay? Do it first. On your worksheet. 1, picture. Take the exhibit sticker out, put it on. Number 1, initials, date, mark, PLIBT number 1. Here you go, sir. Okay. No big deal. Question certification. During the deposition, if a question is asked and the attorney for the witness instructs the witness not to answer the question may require certification. This will be required in 21, and we'll discuss it on 21. Stopping witnesses and attorneys. If a witness begins to speak too rapidly or says something that is not understandable, the reporter must stop the witness and ask him or her to repeat what was not recorded. In most cases, a polite, "Excuse me, would you repeat what you said?" or "I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said, would you repeat that?" will suffice. Guys, you have full control, okay? Deposition or courtroom, you usually have full control, okay? And if you're not getting it, you're responsible for that testimony. So if you're not getting it, you better speak up.
When is it taking it too far? Because my cousin came up to me and told me that the court reporter told her in court to slow down or whatever. And then after court, she found her and started yelling at her again.
The reporter did?
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what I would have done to the reporter once we go off the the tape. No, I mean, that's totally unprofessional. Totally. I mean, you're responsible for that thing. I mean, you know, I've done it where I come up to a witness afterwards. If I've told him 3 or 4 times already, you know what, the judge is like, you know what, we're gonna take a break. And they're nervous. Sometimes they're nervous. It's not their fault. Sometimes they're just jerks. Sometimes witnesses are just, they're trying to be smart Alex and talk over everybody and whatever. And they're saying stuff and they're just totally inappropriate. Usually my judge is real good about stopping them and, cut it out. That's enough. Whatever. Quit speaking over one another. And my judge, he'll dummy it down big time. Quit talking over one another. Question, then she'll ask a question. Answer, question. So you do it enough times and they're gonna do it. But the first few times you're polite. And I am, I'm sorry, I didn't understand you, speak up a little bit or slow down. You're going way too fast, slow down. And they're nervous, so I mean, you don't really realize how fast you're talking. When you're nervous, your mind is just racing, so you're just talking. So, but yeah, that a little much. The reporter should use discretion when asking an attorney to slow down, keeping in mind that the integrity of the record is at stake. If you need to ask lawyers to repeat something, be courteous and avoid phrases such as, "I did not get that," or "you are going too fast." Simply ask them to repeat their last question because you did not hear it. I guess. I don't know, maybe I've been doing it too long, but if I'm not getting it, I tell them. But a lot of times it's friends of mine that I know, just because it's attorneys that we know. If I know the ones that are real fast, so I'll tell them, hey, slow down a bit, slow down a bit. Third time, I'm like, look, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. So slow down because I'm not getting it. So if you want it on the record, let me know. Slow down. But you try to be courteous at first, and they know. They already know. And sometimes, there's 2 attorneys that don't get along, and they're just fighting with each other just to fight. and they don't really care. You know, and they're talking over one another because it gets under the other one's skin. Well, guess what? Do you want it on the record? You don't. You know, and I had a judge that, you know, I told one of our DAs, I'm not getting it. I'm not. And this was like the 4th or 5th time. I'm not getting it. You keep talking. And she would ask a question of the witness, and the witness would just start answering, well, that's not true. Well, that's not true. And, you know, it's like, I'm not getting it. You're talking over her, you know. And the judge told her, let her answer the question. Let her answer the question. Like the 3rd time, you know, he told her, let her answer the question. I said, Judge, I'm not getting it. He said, Dave, don't worry about it. He said, if you're not getting it, don't worry about it. You get as much as you can, and if you don't get it, you don't get it. It's her record, and if she doesn't care about it, then you don't either. You just take down as much as you can. Okay. And the judges have your back. They do. You know, but you want to be courteous. You always want to be courteous. Okay? Off the record discussions. If an attorney has to go off the record to discuss something, make sure that the other attorney has agreed to go off the record. Let the attorney know that you are not recording what is being said by taking your hands off the machine and in some cases standing up. The method ensures that the attorneys realize that they cannot go back on the record until you are seated at the machine with your hands on the keyboard. Yes. I wouldn't stand up, but usually I back away a little bit from the machine, and I always put my hands where everybody knew that I'm not writing. Or you put them on the desk or whatever. We're not writing. I'm not writing. But sometimes, you know, you'll be in a heated conversation or whatever, and the attorney's like, go off the record. Go off the record. Well, it's different like in a deposition because they both have to agree to go off the record. And the other attorney's like, no, you stay on that record. You stay on that, you're off the record. No, absolutely not. Well, they have to agree to go off the record. Both of them have to agree. If not, then you stay on.
So while they're arguing back and forth that way, are you taking all this stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, so you don't take your hands off until it's like, you know, guys, I'm not, you know, you have to speak one at a time, and you guys have to agree to go off the record. You know what, just go off the record. Yeah, you know what, go off the record. Well, I had an attorney one time tell me, you know what, go off the record. So I look at my judge, and my judge is like, no, we're going to stay on the record. I want this on the record. And he's fighting with the attorney. And the attorney's like, you know, and he slams his hand down on that thing. I said, go off the record. And I'm just writing. I don't say anything. This guy, I mean, once the hearing was over, pissed, comes over to me and starts telling me, when I tell you go off the record, you go off the record. I said, look, I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't work for you. I work for him. When he tells me to go off the record, I go off the record. I don't work for you. I work for the judge. The judge tells me when to go on the record, when to go off the record. So that's as simply as I can put it. That's as easily as I can put it for you. I don't work for you. You know, so if you want to go off the record, you ask the judge. If the judge agrees, he tells me to go off the record, we go off the record. If not, then I'm staying on the record. So you try to be nice.
So
Know what I
in the
mean?
deposition, even the attorney who called you for that deposition doesn't want to go off.
And it's tough. It's tough because he may be asking you to go off the record and the other one's saying stay on. And it's like, you know, you're supposed to be an unbiased party. So, you know, there's kind of a fine line there, but you're supposed to get both of their agreements to go off the record. I had two attorneys almost get in a fight, and one's here, the other one's here, and they're, talking, and with fingers in each other's face, and my machine's right here, and they're talking over me right here. I think I'd handle it differently today, but back then I didn't know. I was a scared little cat, just didn't say anything, just
Saw a video one time of one of the attorney jumps over the court reporter and tackles the other attorney over the table. And are you off the record then when the attack has been
Go on to
made? Physical
YouTube. You can
contact.
see some pretty cool videos of stuff.
And would you stay on the record if something like that was to happen?
Physical contact ensues.
I mean, you want to ensure your safety, so you want to get out of the way, but I mean, I don't know.
Attorney one threw a right punch, attorney two people left.
I don't know.
Uppercut to the jaw.
So, parentheticals. Deposition reporters should have a clear understanding of when and how to use parentheticals as outlined in Section B of this handbook. Parentheticals involve marking exhibits for identification, reading back questions, recording off-the-record discussions, and inserting various questions and answers in parentheticals.
Y'all know what I'm talking about, right, in parentheticals? Whereupon an off-the-record discussion is had. Whereupon a lunch break was had. Whereupon a short recess was had. Whereupon plaintiff's exhibit number 3 was marked for identification. All of those are parentheticals, okay?
Correct spellings. The spellings of names and technical terms can be verified during the deposition by a polite request. However, do so during a break in the testimony or at the end of a hearing. Counsel do not like to be repeatedly stopped to spell every difficult word that is used during dictation.
Okay? So they say, well, you know, I lived on La Barca Street. What? La Vaca? La Barca, La Boca? What do you say? No big deal. If you can mark it on your machine, great. If not, you know, I'm sorry, sir, what did you say? La Barca. Okay. Write it down correctly, and then you can go back and search it on your computer, you know, whatever. I have a couple of questions. You know, can you stay after the deposition for just a second? It was a place where you lived. Well, a lot of times you don't even need to do that. I did it today with a witness that we took in a termination hearing. Well, where do you live? 122, I don't remember what the street was. Crestview. Okay. One word, 2 words. But just Google Map. 12222 12222 Crestview. 5 numbers in Crestview. So you start, you know, doing CR, and it starts coming up, you know, with the names that even start with CR, ESO, Crestview, 1 word. Okay, no big deal. So you have so many things at your disposal these days. Google, holy cow, wealth of information, absolute wealth of information. Google Maps, you know, when they say streets, over there on Quintana Road. What? Quintana? Will that start with a K? Quintana? I don't know. Start typing it. Oh, it's Q. Oh, okay. I mean, just stuff like that. I mean, guys, we didn't have that back then. You know, like I was telling you, you know, they discussed medications. I was calling HEB Pharmacy. I knew that one cat by his first name. Hey, Jonathan there at the HEB Pharmacy? Yeah. Hey, Jonathan, what's up? This is Dave. Hey, what's up, Dave? How you spell Xanax? Z-A, no, X. X? Yeah, X-A-N-A-X. Oh, okay. All right. Call in about 20 minutes with the next question. You know, but you always want to have your questions together, you know, and, you know, sometimes there may be things that that only that person's going to know. You know, if you take the deposition, you know, well, I need to get a hold of Mr. McReynolds, you know, whatever. Your client said something about he was in Phi Sigma Delta. Did he say, is that what he said? Why don't you call him and ask him? Okay. Is that what you said? Fine. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't understand what you said, and it was kind of garbled or whatever, so you said it real fast, so I didn't hear what you said. But a lot of times you can Google it, and Google's going to be your best friend, trust me.
At the end of the deposition, at the conclusion of the deposition, obtain all information regarding the billing, signing, and delivery of the deposition. Some of this information may have already been obtained in the stipulations made at the beginning of the examination. Is this going to be by the rules? Yeah. Are we going to have the deposition signed by the witness? Yeah, I want it sent to the witness and I want it signed. Okay. So it's just sent to the witness and he gets to read it, make any corrections he needs to or whatever, and then he signs it, sends it back, or whatever. Okay, well, a lot of times the billing, I mean, they already know who took the deposition. What you need to find out is if the other attorney wants a copy. Sir, are you gonna want a copy of this deposition? You know what, I am. I gave you my card earlier. Let me know when it's ready and deliver it or whatever, and then bill me. Okay. Well, you may have 6 attorneys or 14 attorneys in a hearing. Go up to each one. You know, do you want a copy? Yes, I do. Can you give me a card? Okay. Do you want a copy? Yeah, I do. And I think I told you about the first time I took a job, it was court. And there was like 16 or 18 attorneys, and I got like an 0 and 14. Awesome little day. I didn't do any more work and got paid handsomely for it. Okay? But I had to keep track of who wanted it. Yeah, he wants it. Yeah, he wants it. Got a card from him. Yeah, he wants it. He wants it. 14 now. Okay? So, deposition exhibits. Some attorneys expect the court reporter to keep and maintain all exhibits introduced for identification and then to include them in the transcript. And that's what you do. I mean, you take them back to the office, say, look, these are the, what you do is usually keep them because you're going to need them. If they were reading off those exhibits, you're going to want them when you're transcribing that deposition. Okay? So it's going to have a lot of the information in there that they were talking about. So you're going to need it. And then at the end, you take it up there and say, hey, look, these are the exhibits. They need to be copied on the 0-1, and then this guy ordered another copy, so he's going to need a copy of the exhibits too. Okay. Well, they're already going to know what to do. This isn't their first rodeo, so they're going to know what to do with the exhibits. Retroactive oath. If at some point during the deposition you discover you forgot to swear in a witness, ask the attorney if they would like to have the witness sworn in at that point. Most attorneys will agree, in which case you will use a retroactive oath that states that everything that the witness has been the truth and everything or he or she says from now on will be the truth. Okay? Do you understand what it's saying right there? Pretty self-explanatory. You forget, you're 19 questions in, I forgot. You know what, I'm just not going to say anything. No. Sir, can we take a break? I just want to let you know I forgot to swear in the witness. You know, you want me to swear him in now and then I can go back and tell him, you know, we'll do the retroactive oath. Well, what's that? Oh, that everything that he's testified to beforehand has been the truth and that everything he says from here on out will be the truth also. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Go ahead. Well, I don't know how to do it. Really? You know, so you just kind of want to explain. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you have given thus far has been the truth and the testimony that you will give from this point forward through the deposition will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yeah. Okay. Then you go on. But you have to know what you're doing, kinda, to get through this. You know, you don't want to look like a fool, okay? So you at least want to know, and if you've never heard it before, then it's like, what do I do? I just swear in the witness now? Yeah, okay. Well, do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Well, what about the 19 questions before that? What about it? You know, when you're that guy or you're that girl, what about it? No. So know what you're doing. Be prepared, okay? Delivery time. The court reporter needs to know whether the deposition is needed right away or whether your usual delivery time will be sufficient for the lawyers. One question that might be asked at this point is whether a trial date has been set for the litigation. Some attorneys may request an expedited copy or an immediate copy, in which case you should inform the attorneys that the rate charged is different, okay? And usually they'll let them know, you know, when they call in, but sometimes they won't let them know. Sometimes the attorneys won't let them know, hey, you know what, I need that one, I need a rush. They didn't tell me that. Well, it just changed, the price just changed, so
you may want to call the office and I'll let them know, and then they'll call you and let you know what the price is gonna be now. Oh, I didn't know it was gonna be different. Well, yeah, I mean, it's rush now. You know, our usual turnaround is 7 to 10 days, and you want it, today's Thursday, you want it by Saturday. Yeah, price just changed. Special request. The court reporter should determine whether attorneys would prefer to use any of the litigation support services that your agency may offer. For example, ASCII files, keyword indexing, electronic modem delivery, or immediate rough copies. Such services require special fees, and the reporter should be able to quote the prices or have a rate sheet. And usually they'll give you a rate sheet, you know, of what it is. You know, so you have a sheet that's already typed out by the reporting firm that you work for, okay? And it's kind of like a menu. I'll take an ASCII and, you know, and I can't remember, a condensed transcript. You know, sometimes those guys want it condensed. And what it is, it's like 4 pages on one sheet, and it's real small. But you know what, I've got to fly back to New York to take depositions in New York, and I want to take this deposition, and I don't want it to be 160 pages of deposition. I just need it to be 20 pages, because there's 4 pages on each or whatever and whatnot. Okay, so however many pages it comes out to be. So, you know, now it's going to be really thin. Okay?
What is keyword indexing exactly?
What is what?
Keyword indexing.
I guess where like certain words are used in that deposition, and they'll have an index of every time that it's used. I've never really done it, but I've heard of it. You know,
So that would be on the index page, we'll have keyword.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, and all the pages.
yeah.
Signing the deposition and filling out the original. If the signature of the deponent has not been waived, the reporter may inquire whether he or she should obtain the signature of the witness. So a lot of times, you know, at the end of the deposition, they'll ask, you know, is the signature waived, or do you want the signature on? No, you know what, we want the signature. So then they send it to the deponent, he reads it, fills out any changes he needs to, and then signs it. Okay? That's all they're asking there. Charges and invoicing. Attorneys usually note on the record any unusual circumstances about who is to be billed for the cost of the transcript. If nothing is said by the time the attorneys are ready to leave, you may need to inquire as to who will cover the cost of the deposition. Invoicing and payments vary from lawyer to lawyer. Some attorneys agree that the lawyer who called the deposition is responsible for all costs, and usually that's what it is. Usually the attorney